Hey, Brian.
Good afternoon, ladies and germs.
So our first official meeting is a chartered club.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay. Did all the associates get the, I sent out a membership application this morning, and then I resent it with some updated fields and stuff. Did everybody get that should have gotten it?
I don't know, I didn't see anything, but I think I'm already a member.
What was it you sent out?
A membership application. Jerry wanted it sent out for just the associate / honorary members.
Oh, okay.
Members. So I've already gotten a couple of them back, but I updated the form a little bit so every field was fillable. Much easier.
This doesn't look good. I'm pretty dark. Oh, Jerry's in the car.
Let's go find the little thing.
Hey, Chris.
Oh, that's no good. That's better. Yep.
We have to
Take
stop
care.
talking about Chris now. So, anybody have anything while we're waiting for our speaker?
Well, David Knipe is on the line here, and he should tell us where he is.
I'm in Athens, Ohio at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah, a Vulcan Kawasaki convention.
A Vulcan Kawasaki convention. Wow.
I am. Yeah, I was at it last year down in Maggie Valley with a bunch of guys, and actually my friend that I've traveled with for years, and yeah, so yeah, we're out for rides and stuff. It's a great time.
So we may have a gentleman by the name of Patrick logging in. He's from, used to be a Rotarian in Haiti, and he was a judge in Haiti, and he was interested in having a look at our club, so he might log in. I don't know. We'll see.
Cool.
One of the fellows I'm traveling with is from Breton. Believe it or not, he flew his Kawasaki over for this convention, and he was a Rotarian. I was telling him about this new group that just started, so trying to talk him into possibly looking at it.
And where was he from?
He's from not London, England, but England.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, flew his bike over. Quite the guy. He's quite the mate.
I see Vern is signed in there. Vern, can you hear us? Give him a minute.
Geez, Paul, you're so much prettier in your still shot.
That's a good start. Thanks. I'm letting my hair grow. My wife's not too happy about it.
That's good.
I kind of just sit back
Banter.
and they can hear you better.
Hi. I thought you had it muted.
No, don't really hear.
I'll share a little bit. I'm riding tomorrow to escort, among the escort, the Vietnam Traveling Memorial Wall, which is arriving in Niagara Falls tomorrow. I'll be there until the 16th. They've had a couple of those visits by the wall in upstate New York, and the escort usually brings in 650 to 800 motorcycles, so it should be a pretty sizable escort.
Are you a Patriot Guard rider, Paul, or is that through a different organization?
Patriot Guard Rider is a different group. I joined it, but I haven't ridden with them. I ride with a group called Hogs and Heroes, which is a national nonprofit foundation that supports veterans, military and police, firefighters, and first responders generally. I'll be riding with Hogs and Heroes tomorrow. I'm also American Legion riders. I belong to that group as well. But I'll be riding, they'll have the Vietnam veterans in the front of the escort, so I'll be riding with Hogs and Heroes in the front of the escort.
David Jandia.
Linda, he can see us, but he can't hear us.
Oh.
So he can just call in on a number.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Well, I can see him.
I can see him. Vern, can you hear us?
He can't hear us.
I wonder if his audio's turned off.
No, it would show the mute.
No, I don't mean muting, but he might not have logged in with audio.
It might work best if he calls back in. Hang up and call back in.
Okay.
What happened to Chris's photograph?
He's incognito.
I'm actually cooking and preparing dinner.
Road trip.
Come on down. I'm ready.
What's for dinner?
Yeah.
Sounds like his voice.
Chicken over salad.
I'll stick with my halibut tonight.
Poor thing. I'm feeling bad for you all of a sudden. Fresh halibut for you.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Actually, we got it out of we had it in the freezer, so trying to clean the freezer out. You know, but we did have fresh halibut last weekend and fresh shrimp.
Nothing like the Northwest for the good fish.
Exactly.
Well, I'll cry for you now.
Somebody's typing.
Yeah, somebody's a quick typer too.
Yeah.
Guilty.
David, you look like you're driving.
Yeah, actually, my wife is driving. We're just coming back from from Columbus, Ohio, where we had an appointment down there. The good news is that my wife, Jennifer, retired officially on Friday of this past week. So we're kind of getting used to her being around all the time, which is really pretty nice.
But your honeydew list has grown.
He just went, psh.
It's never ending. I'll tell you, you were right, Glenda. I could get into that swearing real easy. Hello, folks.
Welcome, Vern.
I've been retired for a while, but my retirement is over now.
I had you up on the phone, but like I touched the bottom, it had the sound button stroked out, and it kept saying dial in. And when you're stupid like me, what's dial in mean? That means I get on the phone and I'll talk to you. So how's that?
That's perfect. We're glad you're here. So
thank you.
Use a dial phone.
Pardon me?
You have to use a dial phone.
That stuff. And yeah, well, like I said, these cell phones are great if you know how you work them. But anyway.
So Linda, do you want me to start off here?
Yes, please do. Go for it.
So I'm going to share my screen because Vern sent me a little presentation here. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay. So it's my pleasure to introduce Vern Hepburn. He's the president of the Ontario Association 6 of the Red Knights Motorcycle Club. I first met Vern 43 years ago. I know it's hard to believe. I only look 43. But when I moved to Wyerton at the age of 14, and I started high school in a new town. I'm very good friends with Vern and his beautiful wife, Diane. They have 2 children, and a week or so ago, a brand new grandson.
Yay.
I also hang out with Vern's 2 of his brothers. He comes from a big family, but I hang out with 2 more of his brothers who are also Red Knights. They're a great family, and I'm very fortunate that they allow me to go ride with the Red Knight group. I asked Vern to share with us what the Red Knights are all about. And without further ado, please welcome Vern Hepburn from Markdale, Ontario.
Thanks, everybody, and that stuff. And first thing I want to say thank you 2 times. I want to thank you guys and for asking me to talk. It's an honor and that stuff to talk to Rotarians and whatnot. And I want to thank you for what you guys as Rotarians do. And I say guys, that's general term, please. For what the Rotarians have done in the communities. I grew up in Wyerton, where Glenda is, and the Rotarians were big. Lions Club, Rotarians, they did so much for the towns and that stuff, and I know what yous do, and I've seen it throughout when I moved my wife and down here, what the Rotarians do down here, and I just want to thank yous all for what you do for the community service for us, for the communities and that stuff. It's amazing to see, like where I grew up, right across the road was Rotary Park, and every August and Civic Holiday weekend was the Rotary Village Fair. And the money that you put back into the community, what you do for the students and that stuff, when Wyerton would bring over students from foreign students and that stuff. Like I said, I just want to thank you guys for what you do for your communities, because nowadays and that stuff, you may not hear it, but you should, because what you do for the town and that stuff is unbelievable for the towns, period. So I just want to thank everybody for being a Rotarian and that. And now you're crazy like the Red Knights, and that you love motorcycles. You likely did before, but that's up.
So Vern, I'm on the first page, and I'm going to change it to the second slide, which has your lovely wife in it.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay, yep, okay. I got the computer running anyway, so
There
yes. Where this is, the Red Knights are worldwide and that stuff. This picture is actually taken in Vermont and that stuff at one of the international conventions. We were in Rutland and just out for a ride, and I think that year there was close to 1,000. They set the record for almost 1,000 firefighters that love motorcycles showing up to the convention. Our one past president, Dave Emery out of Vermont, Rutland, Vermont, the only way we could sum it up is we're firefighters with a serious motorcycle problem. And I thought, you know what? He hit it right on the head with that and that stuff. It started back in the 80s, in 82 and that stuff, just outside of Boston, Boylston, Massachusetts. And I've been very fortunate to talk to some of the founding fathers and that stuff. And the one gentleman, very, very nice gentleman, and asked him, what was it? He said, what started us? And what it was the fact that firefighters, they loved riding motorcycles, and there was 13 of them. And they said, well, we want to belong to some kind of a motorcycle group or whatever. And one of the guys, after the one meeting, said, why don't we just start up our own instead of joining this group or that group? And why don't we just start our own? So they started the Red Knights. And by 1983, they had to call it the Red Knights International Firefighters Motorcycle Club, because Toronto and Alberta joined. So we had chapter out in Alberta, and Ontario 1 is Toronto for us, and they are still active. And from that point on, it just skyrocketed. Just every time they turned around, they said there was another chapter. It went big in the southern part of the States and that stuff, and the East Coast, and then it's growing, like you said, every year it just keeps growing and growing, and now we're to the point where in 2020, our international convention is in Lyon, France, just above Paris and that stuff. So, but we've got Australia, we've got New Zealand, all throughout Europe and that stuff, up into England, Scotland, I believe, and that stuff. So there's 400, I got it here somewhere. What the heck is it? There's 400 and some chapters worldwide, 448 chapters worldwide, 16 regional associations, one country association, which is Australia 1, and then we have one regional association, and it's known as Europe. So it's just taken off, and it's firefighters that love to ride bikes and that stuff. So we do a thing here in Ontario. We have 21 chapters in Ontario. 17 of them belong to the association that I'm lucky enough to be president of, and the other 4 haven't joined yet. They have the option that they can either stay with the international, but then they really don't have any say on how Ontario is progressing or built or anything like that for the association. And the other 17 this year, I think we had 4 join that were new chapters started, and then they wanted to join with the Association for Ontario. So very fortunate and that stuff. So everywhere, each side, we go from Ottawa, Pembroke, right over to Essex and Wyoming and that stuff, up to Parry Sound, or Bracebridge, I should say, ourselves and Grey Bruce here, and everywhere in between. Teeswater, which is a little place Teeswater was part of us, and Ontario 3, Grey Bruce, but they're at the south end of us. And last year I went for a ride over to a firefighter's breakfast, and the Teeswater guys came down, and I said, well, holy smokes, you got enough here. It's an hour and likely a good 10 minutes from Teeswater to ride anywhere. I said, why don't you guys start your own chapter, and then you'll fill in, there's a little bit of a hole in towards southern Ontario, towards London, and that way. I said, you guys could pick up members, and next thing you know, Teeswater is now Ontario 10. So like I said, we've been very fortunate to grow the way we are and that stuff. So yeah, we're like I said, we're strictly just the rules for us and that stuff to join us. You had to be a firefighter. That's number 1 rule. Number 2, you have to have a valid motorcycle license and that stuff. And the third one is you have to have access to a bike. You don't have to have a bike, but you have to have access to a bike to join us. So as long as you've got those 3 and that stuff, I can't say no to you whatsoever. You're a firefighter, and that's the way the Constitution for the bike club was laid out, and as far as I'm concerned, that's the way it should be. If you're stupid enough to run into a building and that stuff when everybody else is running out, then if you've got those 3 things there, then you're classified as a red knight. That stuff. Any questions so far?
Vern, you mentioned in one of your slides there that when it was founded that there was the Blue Knights were formed at that time, and that they thought there should be some Red Knights. So for people who might not know what Blue Knights are.
The Blue Knights are actually, if I'm not mistaken, they're the police force. The White Knights are the ambulance, so ERT and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And there's now, I didn't realize there's a Green Knight, and that is actually our military and that stuff. So, yes. And there is actually a chapter for the military one, the Green Knights, located in Ontario, and it's actually not that far from me in Walkerton. So, but there's the 4 divisions.
Mm-hmm. I see that you had one of your conventions in 2012 in Gettysburg. I'm sorry I missed you.
Oh, I'll tell you, you have one beautiful area down there, not sir, because but you know what? When we rode in on I think it was Thursday night, we rode down there. When we went through the field, we stayed at the Eisenhower and that stuff. And when we rode through that one field where the battle was, I've never had anything that eerie before, like with the history of and that stuff. Just the hairs on the back of your neck standing up for like the battle that went on there and the people and all that kind of stuff. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful area to ride in. And that's what they try to spread it around, that the conventions go, that we get on the bikes and we have to ride and that stuff. This year's actually down in Pittsburgh is where it is this year. Next year's up in Vermont, and then, like you said, in 2020, if a lot of people want to do it and that stuff, over the pond to France. So, but it's something. It's funny. It's not, I'm not sure how you do it because your group's just starting up, but we get to a convention or something like that, we don't talk fire. Unless something really major happened and that stuff, we talk motorcycles. And then now it's I think Glenda, you were with us out to PEI there. It's friendship. It's camaraderie. That's what this is all about. Everybody loves the motorcycle, and you don't talk shop and that stuff. You how are you? Like you said, people that you haven't seen for a year. How are you doing? And family and motorcycles, and it's just it's a real great hobby. We're classified as a social club. We're not like yourself as a service club and that stuff. We're just classified as a social, and we do donate some money that if we do make some money on conventions and that stuff, they do donate it into the area and that stuff. So, but like I said, it's just one of those things that how lucky can you get that as a kid I loved motorcycles and whatnot, and now is a reason for me to go down to Pittsburgh just to hop on the bike and go with Diane and myself. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The picture that I have up now, Vern, is the Red Knights, the motorcycle show. So,
okay, yep.
Yeah.
And that stuff. And what we do every year in Toronto and that stuff, and the first full weekend in January, they always have the International Motorcycle Show, and it's at the International Building right across from the Pearson International Airport. And we put a booth in there. Right across the road from us is the White Knights, the ambulance and that stuff. They have a booth set up there. And it's just a matter of just all we're trying to do is to get our name out there. Even though we've been here since 1982, I joined in 2004. 2003, as Glenda said, I've got two older brothers. They were on a ride from Collingwood, Ontario, heading home one night, late one night, 10:30 at night, and the brother that's just 10 months older than myself, Brent, had his daughter on the back of his bike, and at 10:30 at night, we don't know if a guy was drunk or not, come across the road, and Brent had to drop the bike, and his motorcycle got split in half. Excuse me. His bike got split in half. He ended up losing his leg below the knee. His daughter at 18 lost her leg right at her hip, and he still rides today. And it's one of those things. He could have died on the road, but he called me from London at the hospital. They were doing surgery to save their lives, and he said, "You had the most bikes as a kid." He says, "You got a year, I'm down a year." He says, "Want you and Diane back on a bike." And from that point on, that's, like you said, it's one of these things where, like, we would run into a burning building, no problem. So why not have some fun with it too? And this Red Knights, you can say I'm a president, but I'm actually one of the lucky guys because I love doing what I'm doing. I've got the executive that we've got. Everybody has the same mentality that they just want to help build the club, and it's enjoy everybody's camaraderie, the being with people, going to different places, and like I said, we got a great excuse to use the motorcycle to get there. So, if it rains, big deal, and that's if I'll clean the bike when I get home, right?
Vern, if I could just interject with your story, I know that was tough for you to talk about. Just to bring everybody up to date, Brent is back on his motorcycle, riding with a prosthetic leg. He also gets on his skates. He coached hockey after that. And his daughter, Mitzi, at the age of 18, losing her leg, she now is married and has 4 children. So they are an inspiration for sure. So, anytime I have a bad day or, I just think about them and think, wow.
Yeah. And my knee, I got a knee that's done, but it don't hurt me. Like I said, you look over at Brent, and I tell everybody, and it's true, we've been over the Denver and that stuff, the Continental Divide and that stuff, and I swear to God that he goes down the road straighter than what I do on my bike and that stuff. So, but like you said, we love being together and whatnot for all of us and that stuff, eh? So, and we're lucky enough to have the bike. But it was, like you said, one of those things, a firefighter, and nobody ever said life was fair. But like you said, he could have died on the road, but he didn't. Both of them have done very well, and keep on trucking. So, and the Red Knights, like you said, it's Brent's the road captain. He's been our road captain likely 12 years and that stuff, eh? So active in it and wants to see it go. So, yep.
For sure.
But, yeah, so we do this show every January, and it's not just my chapter, it's all of Ontario. So one of our real big gentlemen for pushing it is out of St. Catharines, Ontario. We have a lot of guys that have come over from the Belleville area and that stuff. We've got one gentleman that's big time out of Ottawa and that stuff, eh? So like, we all work together and for the same common goal of just trying to just promote motorcycle safety. And like I said, we were stupid enough to be firefighters, so that stuff, we were having some fun. That stuff. And we've got, like I said, there's 21 chapters, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. 21 chapters in Ontario. We've British Columbia. It's funny, the territories don't have any chapters yet, and right in the middle of Canada, Saskatchewan, we don't have a chapter, but every other province has chapters and that stuff. So.
Anything you want to say about the memorial slide?
Sorry?
Is there anything that you wanted to say on the memorial slide, Vern?
Yeah, the memorial, a lot of us are retired, but with the memorial slide there, the FFAO, Firefighters Association of Ontario, and that's that we try not to get into the political part of, there's a battle going on between full-timers, some full-timers, I should say, not all, some full-time fire departments and the volunteer firefighters, and it's not volunteer anymore. The training that's going on, my young lad is, I think he's been on Meaford Fire Department now for 3 years, and what he went through to get where he is, and that's, it's not volunteer anymore. There's a lot of hours put into this, but we support the Firefighters Association. Back in '87, they built this memorial, and that's when I was in my heyday in Wyerton in the fire department, and I was up to the college 3 or 4 times. So, as a retired firefighter and that stuff, this once a year they have a memorial where they'll put more names. Hopefully, sometime we'll get to the point where we don't put any names on. But if a firefighter dies in the line of duty, his name goes on this memorial, and once a year we go up there and we support the brothers and sisters that they're on the fire department and have passed away too. So, but that's when you take a look at the memorial slide there, the red is vest is what the international prefers, but they will let chapters wear a black vest, and then but the patch and everything on the back is from our quartermaster and that stuff. So.
Okay.
And I guess the next slide there, Glenda, is like I said, we're worldwide, and that's the one gentleman there. He's I think he's the vice president of Europe now. Not that, but like I said, we've got firefighters from Switzerland right around to New Zealand, Australia, and they're looking at even down Mexico, below North America, Mexico, and into the top part of South America. So. We will be worldwide here, likely in the next few years, and so.
Very good.
that. So yeah, so it's one of those things where just the love of motorcycles, and it's just goes on and on. Eh? So now for yous, is this, you have just started this with the Rotarians? Is that correct?
Yeah, we're a newly formed chartered club, Vern.
Yes.
Just chartered the 1st of July.
So now, is this just a charter for the motorcycle part of it, or are you talking like the Rotarians have? This is a new town, this kind of thing.
We're a new e-club, an online club that's chartered.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
From how far now? Your members are from where?
Linda, I'm going to let you take that one.
We're mostly US and Canada. We've got a couple of gentlemen down in Honduras, I believe, and then there's some other people from England that want to join. I'm just waiting for them to send their paperwork back.
Oh, cool.
So everywhere.
And basically the love of motorcycling too, is that the idea?
Yes.
Cool. And that stuff. You'll I'll give you a bit of advice. You'll have your growing pains and that stuff, right? And the more you can get your name out there and what you are to, and you know what, even like car shows and that stuff, the more you do that, and people will all of a sudden go, you know what, maybe I should join that. I was a Rotarian. Is there, I take it, do you have to be an active Rotarian, or could you have been a Rotarian and joined your club?
Yes. Yes to all of the above.
But by joining the club, you become an active Rotarian.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so this is a little different than the Rotary Fellowship of the International Fellowship of Motorcycling Rotarians, which is a different group altogether.
Now, do you guys have the support of the Rotarians too?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, because that's a big thing. Because like you said, you're not only Rotarians, but the love of the motorcycling too, right?
Yes.
And that stuff. So well, good for you.
I'll raise a question, having looked at Vern's beautiful vests. Do we want, as a group, this is for future discussion, do we want to consider having a vest for our club, or a patch, or just a smaller patch?
Good question.
So the with the patch, now I'll be honest with you. The first time that I went to a convention for Ontario was up in Ottawa in 2008, and they brought up the Hells Angels, and I said, listen, like, why are we talking of this group? We're firefighters. Why are you bringing 1%ers into this? And it's over the patch.
Yes.
So what had happened in '82, the first vest was black, same colors as Hells Angels.
Right.
And Hells Angels went to whatever court it was, whether it be in the States or whatever, went to, and they said that's right. They got the right to the to that color, the patch, the whole bit.
Right.
You have to be careful. Australia, if I go down with my vest on, I have to take the top and bottom rocker off. I can have the middle, but I can't have the top and bottom rocker because the Australian government says that is a group. You're an outlaw group. When you put a rocker, top and bottom on, you are now classified as being the motorcycle gang, or whatever term you want to use for that part.
Right.
With us now, we have a liaison with the Hells Angels, and it all depends where you ride. Even in Southern Ontario here, you get over around the Ottawa, like in the bottom there, where St. Lawrence River and that stuff. There are groups over there. It all depends who their new boss is over there, like their mother, right? If they'll leave some firefighters alone that have a vest on, and other ones will say, no, that's you're riding and you got a patch. You got a patch in my area. So whatever you pick for a vest and that stuff, just make sure that you outline somehow, whether you have the Rotarian symbols in there. That's why we have with ours, if you take a look, the patch has a ladder and it has a fire hydrant in some of them, or a pike pole, right, that we used. And something that distinguishes that who you are, because these, and I hate to say this, the 1%ers don't have any common sense, and they look at that no matter what, we'll go to their clubhouse on fire and put it out. But if I put my vest on beside them, then
Could be a
some
problem.
guys are good and other guys are not. So if you do that, like I said, make sure that you do something that distinguishes between that. As soon as I see it, police officer sees it, and then they're going to say, okay, that's, yeah. Because for a while, and that's that, you put a vest on, you put a patch on the back with rockers and that stuff, then all of a sudden, God, what kind of a motorcycle gang is this? No, we're not a gang. We're firefighters, right? Or you guys are Rotarians, eh? So that's just I would give you just a heads up on that.
Yeah, the Blue Knights had a similar problem, but they kind of squashed that idea with the Hells Angels for obvious reasons. The Angels didn't want to go against the group of police officers, but it's still a very touchy subject in areas of the country.
Oh, like you said, they don't care. They're to the point where they only see black, like I said, they only see a fight, and you're in their territory, right? Whether you're a police officer, firefighter,
police officers,
ERT, whatever. So
they stay away from the Blue Knights completely.
Yeah, and that stuff. Because what they did with us and that stuff, London, Ontario here, their colors are Hells Angels colors, and when the Red Knights said, okay, went to the red vest, the gold and white trim, and that stuff, they said, if you have the original colors, then you can stay with that. You don't have to get rid of that vest. So London, Ontario still has the same colors as the Hells Angels. So that's why we had to have a liaison with them through the international. Because, like I said, any given time, you don't know what's going to happen with them, right? So, but it is. I'm proud now. I'll be honest with you. I'm proud though to wear mine because of 18 years on the fire service and that stuff. So, and now with the Red Knights and that stuff, I'll put mine on. It doesn't matter who's around and that stuff, and the badge for me, right? So.
Any other questions for Vern? Well, Vern, I'd like to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. I know you were rushing home from work, and we all learned something new.
Well, Glenda, thank you very much, and everybody, thank you very much. And I hope I didn't hear any snoring, so hopefully that's a good thing.
And Vern was worried that he might say some curse words, but you were really well behaved.
Yeah, well, once in a while, like you said, the good Lord will shine on you and put tape over my mouth. So, but thank you very much. Nothing but the best for your group and whatnot. And like I said, if there's any questions on that, please, Glenda, like you said, don't be afraid to, if there's something like to do with the chapters, like you got a question, let us know, or ask, like I said, email me or whatever, and don't stew about anything too long. Like I said, you will have your growing pains and that stuff, but once it gets up and running, like the Rotarians itself and that stuff, you get into that rhythm, away you just go, and you're going to have a blast, and you're going to have a motorcycle to go on top of it. So everybody ride safe, and thank you very much for asking me.
Thanks, Vern.
Thanks, Vern.
Okay. You have a good meeting now, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
That was good.
Yes, it was.
So Jerry had a fundraising idea. I'll kind of pass it out to you guys too and see what you think. And I've done some research. So he thought about having custom gremlin bells made, and then we could sell those. And then we would have, the company I did talk to, we would have exclusive rights to that. Nobody else could order from them. They'd have to come through us.
And what were they?
Those little gremlin bells that you put down in the lowest part of your
gotcha.
Your bike.
How much do they cost?
It would cost us $5, a minimum order of 100 to begin with, and then $325 to get the mold made. That's the only company that's called me back so far. They're on the East Coast.
Have we had any discussion about getting a badge? So when
Not getting a what?
Getting a badge for our club, name badge, so we can represent the club when we visit other clubs.
I have not.
I think, are you talking like an emblem in the way of a patch, or are you talking about a club banner?
I'm trying to see. No, my last E-Club, we had a name badge made that said Rotary E-Club of Southern Ontario, blah, blah, and our name and the Rotary logo. And we wore that when I went to Singapore. I wore that. It represented the club when I was traveling.
Just like a
great
regular
idea.
club badge when you go and visit other clubs, it identifies you as what, yeah.
Right.
Good idea.
Paul, do you want to research that?
Oh, sure, I can. I would probably just take the easy route, Club Runner. I mean, Russell Hampton.
Yeah.
Somebody else can go after other vendors. I don't have a copy of my old badge. I think I might have tossed it. I also, for those who don't know, created a business card.
Ron, stop that.
Why?
John. Stop.
Why?
What are you doing?
Too much noise?
Yeah.
Yes.
I made a business card too, so that when I'm visiting other clubs and other people, I can promote our club. But I'd love to have a name badge. So
There you go.
I'll order one for myself, just randomly design it, and then you can see what I'm talking about. And one of our graphic designers, like Debbie Vance, might want to actually do a more professional job and use the way.
Paul, do you mean like a pin? Like
Yeah,
a badge?
Yeah,
Something like that?
just like that.
If I may suggest, I've been in the office supply industry for the last 40 years, and I do name badges. If I could, somebody wants to design something, I'll be glad to actually make the badges.
You
Oh,
did
that's great.
Like what
You did a
John is
great
saying.
job.
Well,
You
we
did
have,
a great job on the ones for the ride.
Yeah.
Don, can you hold that up again?
Hold that up again, John. That's perfect.
Okay, I want to get a screenshot of that just a sec.
That's what we had on the ride. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can make those very easily.
Without the tweezers, yeah.
Without the tweezers.
And magnetic, please, so it doesn't damage whatever people are wearing.
Right.
So we're going to design one then? Or we,
It looks
have
like,
ideas?
John's already got the job done. I mean, that's perfect.
But that's the fellowship. That's not our club.
oh,
I was going to say, that's IFMR. We don't have one for us.
Right. Correct.
That's where Debbie comes in.
Plus, we were looking for a new logo. And
Okay.
Jerry still likes the bike with the flames on it.
well, no, we actually had a different one. But at the end of the convention, we came up with a different one.
Oh, did you?
Oh.
Yeah.
For IFMR or for the E-Club?
Oh, you know what? It's for IFMR. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're a tease.
That also raises the question of the banner that we could hand out when we're traveling the trade, especially in Asia and overseas. They put a lot of importance in that banner swapping.
yeah.
And I would be happy to buy 20 banners if somebody were to design one. And I carry 20 over and get rid of at least 10 of them on a trip.
Now that's a Debbie Vance opportunity right there.
Okay, so a badge and a banner.
Yes.
Okay.
Linda, did we ever come to any kind of conclusion for our logo? Because I know there was a little bit of like modifying the IFMR thing going around, and there was some other stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, we never came up with anything definitive. So we're open to suggestions.
I think that's the place to start, is start with a logo.
Okay, so something new and completely our club then.
Yes.
Okay,
But it would have to include the Rotary symbol, would it not?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
but I just meant something other than the fellowship, something other than, I think there's another international club out there. Is there?
Well, there are several chapters of the
Maybe
International Fellowship of Motorcycling Rotarians, but I don't know of any other e-club or club that's motorcycle focused in Rotary.
Okay.
I think there's one in England because somebody posted a picture of motorcycling Rotarians on our page a while back, but they were in England and it wasn't our guys.
I might have been getting confused with them as well, but I'll do something just for us. Our
Okay.
club. E-club, Rotary, motorcycle.
Now,
That would
drop
be
the
really cool.
E-club. Drop the E-club. We are an official Rotary club. Am I not right?
Yes, that's what Jerry
Yes, we are,
said.
Terry. We're absolutely an official club.
Yeah, there is no such thing as an e-club any longer.
Yeah,
We are
we're an online club.
Rotary Club of Motorcycling Rotarians.
I checked that when I was ordering my business cards with Jerry, and he made it very clear that it is, the charter will be Rotary Club of, not Rotary E-Club of.
Yeah, in the 2016 council and legislation, we eliminated e-clubs. So a club is a club, whether you meet online or in person or a hybrid.
But you still need to be descriptive so that people don't get confused. So people will still use the terminology E-club, even though it may not be accurate.
They can, but I recommend we not. What I changed on our meeting post on our Facebook page was we meet, and I think on the website, we meet online.
Yeah,
But
and that's an excellent way to put it.
Shifting it to Rotary Club of wherever I can find it.
Yeah.
But I can't advertise, come to join us for our club meeting, and then people don't realize it's an online meeting.
So use the word online.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't call it e-club because there is no more e-club according to Rotary.
Yes.
Good point.
Okay. The other thing that came up last week was, Rotary had to catch up. So I logged into my Rotary this morning, and if you go into your account there, you should see that you're listed as a member of the Rotary Club of Motorcycling Rotarians.
I checked right before this meeting. I'm not listed yet.
You're not listed yet?
No.
That would be for full members only, right, Linda? Not associate members.
Correct.
I don't belong to any club anymore. I resigned my club, and I'm now, I can't even access my online, my foundation contributions. I have very limited access at RI now.
I will, I'll check that and find out what's going on. Anybody?
Did we transfer your number?
I gave everything to Jerry.
Okay, as long as we transfer your number.
It'll catch up.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't have anything on RI either.
As of today?
Actually, I didn't check today, no.
Check today, because I checked this morning and mine was up. Paul, did you check today?
I checked about 10 minutes before I logged into this meeting.
Okay. I'll find out what's going on.
I can't believe Rotary did something in 7 days, though. All right.
Yeah, with drowned servers even.
Yeah, with drowned servers, you're right.
Plus, they had a distraction last week.
So that brings up a question. At the moment, and it wouldn't be because we weren't a club yet, our Club Runner account is not synchronizing with the Discord in Rotary International. Do we want to have it do that once we received our charter? Because I can put that on once we see that we're fully in chartered.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I just checked. I'm actually, I'm populated in, so it must just be a matter of them getting the data switched over slowly.
They haven't gotten to the M's yet. Oh, no, they got to the R's, so I'll check on yours, Paul.
They haven't been gotten to the Rotarians who've been members since 1986.
Anybody else have anything? So Debbie's got some marching orders. Who else?
Just one thing. Chris and I are in initial conversations about a Polio Plus fundraising ride sometime next year. So far, we've established dates that don't work. If it's something that you think you would like to attend, how about sending me dates that do not work for you, and we can work around that.
Do you have a route already picked, John?
No, we're just initial. Right now, I've got a very rough idea, place near Charleston, West Virginia, but nothing locked in concrete.
Okay.
You know, I've not contacted a hotel. I just got it off the, Great Motorcycle Rides of West Virginia site. We all know how good those roads are. But you know how tough it is to do spring planning. You got district conferences, you got the international convention, you got holidays, birthdays, wedding anniversaries, dog has to go to the groomer, all that good stuff. So if you'll send me an email, dates that do not work for you, we can work around it.
Okay.
When you get it narrowed down, could you send some windows that might work?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I was gonna. Chris,
you're muted.
I was going to say, John and I were thinking, since this is an online club, that we'd do an online ride. Just kidding.
Could we maybe do different regions? So like West Coast, Middle, East Coast, all in the same weekend?
I think that's a fabulous idea.
It is. The inspiration is there is one going on the West Coast. And that's where we got the idea.
Oh, the one that's coming up in September?
There's a soon, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, and Bob Muchler, for those of you that know Bob, is doing the ride.
I'd love to do a Keys ride down here.
I'll be down in the Keys with my motorcycle in August.
I'm here on today. Hello?
Where are you in the Keys?
No. This is Bob Muchler.
Oh, there you are, Bob.
Yeah. So just a little bit about my event. It's coming up in September the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And it will be, it's a 10th year fundraiser for Polio Plus. So, and it's an actual rally. It's not a ride. It's a real scavenger hunt on steroids.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate your offer for a video conference. I just haven't gotten to it yet, Bob.
Sure, and that's fine. We'll work something out. The rally consists of an 8-hour event and a 24-hour event. We've been doing this for now 10 years. We've raised well over $100,000 through non-Rotarians, by the way. We've only got a few Rotarians that actually participate.
Okay.
Where will that be located?
It's going to be out of Sacramento, California, Folsom actually. And I would be happy to organize an actual fundraiser ride next year sometime. The difficulty between that and a rally is that rallies are pretty well established with the long distance riding community, where poker runs, as we call them out here, don't usually generate a lot of money, because the people that ride in them, their idea of a long day is going to be 90 miles, and my riders will be doing 300 miles in 8 hours and 1,000 miles in 24. And they will also be raising anywhere from $100 to well over $1,000 per rider.
I think that distinction is very important.
Yeah. Are you arranging for some iron butts, Bob?
Yes.
Good.
I've completed 3 iron butt rallies. I've done, I hold many records on motorcycling, but primarily nowadays I'm more interested in helping other riders accomplish their goals. I'm still working on on one, which I hope to raise a huge amount of money, and that's to ride a Honda 50 from 1967.
All right.
For 1,000 miles in 24 hours.
Oh.
We're working with Honda right now to.
That was my first bike.
Well, we're working. I have an original.
Do you?
So, yeah, we're working with Honda to see if they'll sponsor it and put us in their test track, because I need an oval track somewhere with no wind, a flat track. I've got to have that, and then I'm going to sit on the bike for 24 hours and put miles on it.
And you said that's a Honda 50?
Yes, 1967 Super Cub C102.
Awesome.
So on a Honda 50 in 24 hours, what do you get? About 160 miles?
Per tank? No, I've got a 9/10 of a gallon. I'll go 90 miles.
You say that's a slow moving bike.
At top speed, I'm hoping to get 50 miles an hour out of it. If I do, then I'll have a little bit of slack time to refuel. I have to average 42 miles per hour to accomplish the 1,000 miles.
That's an impressive ask out of that little motorcycle. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, if I figure if it can be done, this will be the bike to do it. And it'll be a good year because Honda has announced they're coming out with a new version of the Super Cub this year.
Ah.
So I have another friend who finished third in the Iron Butt Rally last year, who has opted to ride the new one with me if we can get Honda to sponsor it. And if Honda will, then I figure we'll raise a whole lot of money for Polio Plus, because we'll be getting pledges. We'll be asking for pledges from everybody.
Cool. Well, we're 3 minutes shy of an hour. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
Yeah, I'll be sending my dues in.
Yay. We like money.
Yeah, I know.
So Linda, what's our official count now?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I think we're up to 27. And I sent out 3 applications in the last week for full members. So I'm just waiting for those to come back.
That's great.
Fantastic.
Do we have a flyer or something we can hand somebody to explain who we are?
We do, even with tear-off thingies, huh, John?
Yeah, we do.
Hey, John.
Hey, Linda, can we put a resources section up on the web and put that kind of stuff on the
Yeah,
website?
Paul's actually going to work on that. We're building, I think it was Paul. Somebody and I they were going to start building a list and we'll put it up there.
Well, okay, so we have, if you log in and you look at club documents, you'll see a whole bunch of stuff. And I also uploaded, I just left the role of public image director for my district, and I created a shared Google Drive folder of all of the Rotary logos and stuff, so you don't have to go hunt for them on the RI website, which is slower than molasses in May in New Hampshire. Somebody there is in New Hampshire. So there's that there, and I'll add anything else that I'm shared. I'll put that up on that in that section, so it's available to you. The new stuff I'm putting up, technically you don't have to be logged in, but the way the website is configured, you can't get to that section without logging in. So I have to figure out how to pull out this stuff you don't have to log in to get to. But we have that resources section on the website now. Just log in for documents.
When I send the link out after I upload the video later, I'll put that flyer with it, and then I'll make sure the logo's correct and everything too before I do that. So tonight,
today, Linda, I'll be, like I said earlier, I'll be with about, I don't know, between 600 and 1,000 motorcyclists tomorrow.
Okay.
Print a handful of these things and talk to people and hand them out.
Okay.
And I do have a Rotary logo on the front of my vest, but at some time I'd love to see if we had one for our club that we could put on our vests.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Anybody want to lead the four-way test? John?
Yourself. All right. Four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thanks, Keith.
And
My
is
pleasure.
it fun?
Yeah, will it be fun? Absolutely.
And does it
Will
hurt?
anyone find out?
Okay, I will send the video link out. It'll probably be about 9 o'clock. No, I'll leave before 9 o'clock. And then, Paul, I'll just send you that flyer separately. And then, but the flyer will be also on the email that comes out with the video link.
Okay. I'll stick the flyer in the club documents section, and I'll print a bundle out to take with me tomorrow.
Okay, perfect.
See y'all next week.
All right, have a great week, you guys.
Good week.
Great meeting, Linda. Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you guys next week.